It's that time of year again where I decide to rank my top 10 favorite songs from each group in Project Sekai, mostly as a way to try to get my friends and followers to listen to the music I like. I won't be repeating anything from my previous top 10 videos, so if your fave isn't here, you can go check those out, and there's a good chance I already talked about it beforehand. But don't get upset if your favorite songs aren't on any of my top 10 lists. There are lots of songs to pick from, and some may just have to wait until the next time I make one of these videos. But don't be afraid to share what your favorites are in the comments. As always, I'm going group to group in order of which 10 songs I'm least enthusiastic about to most enthusiastic, which means first up today are Leonid. Now, I know that in other videos I've been pretty harsh when it comes to how interesting their 3D MVs are, but luckily for the band, I think their songs with either no MV or a 2D one are often a lot of fun to listen to, and it feels like we've gotten a lot of those this past year, so let's jump into it and see what the girls have to offer. Number 10. Connecting the Stars. Connecting the Stars is a very Ichika-heavy song, mostly featuring Kaito singing alongside her, and they sound good together. Kaito certainly works best when it's just him and Ichika, versus when he sings alongside the whole team here, in my opinion. But while Ichika gets the bulk of the lyrics, it's nice that her bandmates don't feel left out, as their inclusions come in with a purpose. No one feels left out, rather Saki, Honami, and Shio are dedicated to supporting Ichika, all alongside a simultaneously confident performance and very soft delivery that gives Connecting the Stars a friendly vibe that fits Leonid to a T. Number 9. Dramaturgy. This is one that's been in the game basically since launch, and I've always liked it quite a bit. I'm not a huge fan of the original version just because I don't jive much with the high-pitched voices, which makes Ichika's inclusion excellent, I say. I especially like the chorus, as when Ichika and Miku sing together is when I feel they sound at their best. Miku makes for excellent harmonies here. There's a part of me that laments the lack of other band members, but the rest of me recognizes that adding more voices wouldn't really be adding anything of value, as the song sounds pretty full as it is. Number 8. When Love First Ends. Another one that the whole band gets to join in on, and personally my favorite here is Saki. I feel Isobe Karin just perfectly nails the energy and emotion of the song. Fingers crossed we'll get a cover option for her sometime in the future. With all that being said, it's not like the other girls are lacking. All of them bring their own flavor to the nearly whimsical backing track, with the only real weak being Miku, unfortunately. She doesn't ruin the song by any means, but she does end up standing out a bit amongst the real girls. Either way, it's still a delightful listen. Number 7. Kagero Days. While all the girls do technically join in the vocals, it's by and large an Ichika, Shio, and Miku heavy song, which I'm not upset about. Noguchi Ruriko and Nakashima Yuki are both really excellent vocalists who are downright perfect here. They bring so much power to the song that you just can't get when it's Miku singing by herself. Not to mention, this is a damn near perfect pick for the band to play. I wish it had a 3D MV because you can really hear all the different instruments on full display for the song. Kagero Days is always a joy to listen to, and it's no different here. Number 6. Hide and Seek. Hide and Seek is such a perfect fit for Honami's arc in the main story that it's baffling that the song wasn't made specifically for the game. The lyrics are heartbreaking yet hopeful as the girls resign themselves to being true to their feelings again. I'd previously mentioned how good Ichika and Shio are as vocalists, but really Oeda Reina as Honami is stunning in her own right, and I always really love the songs that feature Honami and Ichika together. Their voices are like peanut butter and jelly, you know? Just made to be together. Number 5. Attract Light. Yeah, we got Len again, and I adore how Luna tunes him. This rules, and really this has all the features from all the other Luna songs that I tend to like. Namely, it rocks super hard and has a really powerful, inspiring sound to it. A crazy high BPM that avoids feeling frantic and instead feels like it's pulling you forward, accompanied by a dramatic MV with cool effects, and that sorta gives me Madoka Magica vibes for some reason. I just can't help it. From every angle I look at this song, it puts a big ol' smile on my face. Number 4. Hibana. Hibana is another one that's been around forever, and it's one that I continually find myself coming back to. As new songs make their way into the game, it can be easy to phase out older ones from your usual playlist, I feel. But Hibana's frantic drums and powerful vocals keep me coming back time and time again. Previously, I noted Miku not quite fitting in with the real girls, and I'm glad that it's not a problem here. Hibana might be one of my favorite iterations of Miku singing with Leonid. She and Ichika sound excellent together, and I do adore the art for the MV. It's like my go-to 2D Leonid MV whenever I need one for a video. Number 3. Fly Away. This is a Hanami-focused song, which is great because the use of the drums throughout the piece is excellent. They are really pushed forward in the track, giving the whole song a grounded bass to work off of, and yet despite that bass, the song doesn't feel weighed down. The melody downright feels like it'll pull you upwards into flight, perfectly echoing Hanami's strong will, yet soft demeanor. There's also a ton of different moments with the vocals I would like to give special mention to, but I think if I had to pick one, it'd be this moment at the bridge. I also always like it when the band gets to perform with Len. I feel like he sounds the best with them consistently. And look at how dang pleasant this art style is for the MV. Nothing but compliments the whole way through. I originally had Fly Away lower on the list, but the more I listened to it, the more I was like, damn, this is good. So quite frankly, it crawled its way up to number 3 fast. Number 2, When the Morning Glory Falls. It is, for some reason, so hard for me to pay attention to the lyrics for this song while listening to it, even when I explicitly look them up to read along with the music. There's just something about the harmonies that take over, and I just fall into the vibes of the song. It perfectly captures the feeling of sunset as summer comes to a close, in a way that I really couldn't get into without resorting to artsy feelings. I especially really like the use of cicadas in the track, a piece of background noise that could easily be ignored for those of us who are used to hearing their calls during the warmer seasons, but one that really fills out the sound of the otherwise more reserved track. Honorable mention. So previously I would build up to the number 1 pick by giving honorable mentions to either mixed group or virtual singer songs, and while I could inundate you with my thoughts on plenty of those again, I thought it would be fun to actually use the honorable mention section to rank the Cup Noodle collab songs from my least to most favorite. A fun ranking within a ranking, like a nesting doll. So it's actually not the honorable mention section, it's noodle time! Coming up as my least favorite of the Noodle songs is Identity, which I get is a bit of a hot take, but let me make it clear that though it's my least favorite, I still like it quite a lot, to the point I made a cover/remix of it with Utao, so clearly it's not like I hate the song. Really, I think my issue is that I've just heard it too much, and I'm not the biggest Kanaria fan to begin with either, but I think it is a lot of fun taking the time to sort of compare how similar Kanade and Miku are in this Sekai, and what that means with Mafuyu. And of course, Lamb's art for the MV is stunning, as always. For coming in at the bottom of this mini ranking, Identity sure does set the bar pretty high.
I don't like my window. When I look out through it, it looks back in through me.
Number 1. Voices. Funnily enough, while I opened the Leonid section praising the quality of songs without 3D MVs, the only one with a 3D MV on my list this year is by far my favorite, and I do think it stands that the MV is nothing too special, but the song itself fucking rules. Definitely helped by being a Shio focus song, as she is my favorite vocalist in the group. But dude, Yu Yu Yuppie's instrumentation rocks my whole world. I have previously lamented how Rin gets to play with the girls instead of Luca, who was the original Vocaloid used for the song, and while I would like to see Luca play with them more, I also think Rin is just a much better fit for this song. Luca sounds far too soft and demure, and while at points Rin stands out from the real girls during the piece, she works much better than Luca would've. Voices is one of those songs I thought was pretty the first time I heard it, but then after it came to the EN server, I found myself going back to it over and over and over to play, just so I could listen to it again, and I just love it when that happens. But now it's time to shift into my next group, Wonderland Showtime. Last year, I discussed how my Leonid section ended up being peaks and valleys, where the songs I liked, I really liked, while the lower ones on my list didn't hit me nearly that hard, and it's a similar thing for the Circus Bunch this year. They are second on my enthusiasm level because while the bottom portion of my list don't get me quite as excited as some of the Leonid songs we just discussed, the ones at the top have me go Banana Monkey Feral mode, so let's get into it. Number 10. Shining Sparkling. So, this sort of ragtime vibe isn't usually my cup of tea. It's nice, just not my favorite flavor of music, but this chorus is just bursting with that happiness, hopeful energy that I like so dang much, especially helped by how every member of the team are perfectly nailing their lines, with a special shout out to Mako, who really impressed me. I also would be a fool to not mention this MV. What a charming art style, both for the chibi versions and full-size versions of the group, flawlessly perfectly nailing the look of the fantasy storybook aesthetic the event was going for. Number 9. Ah, It's a Wonderful Cat Life. What do you know, another ragtime song. This one's a lot jazzier than Shining Sparkling though, which gives it a bit more life if you ask me. I will say, I think having the whole group plus Len is unnecessary. I think it should have been just Len, Rui, Nene, and Miku taking over for Gumi. I get that allocating it like this is a good way to avoid upsetting shippers, but it just feels weird how the girls aren't accompanied by a virtual singer like the boys. But if my only real complaint is something that could easily be resolved with a cover sometime down the road, then clearly the song deserves to make it onto the list. Number 8. Solar System Disco. There's a part of me that feels like Nayutali End's songs all sorta sound pretty similar. But then there's the rest of me that feels like it doesn't matter because they all sound so dang good, especially when done by Wonderland. We've already heard Emu and Nene nail the wavering descending notes that Nayutali End uses to such great effect before, and it's great getting to hear Rui and Tsukasa join in this time. It's so much fun having it build at the perfect time to give the song so much power by the end. All it's missing is an adorable 2D MV to go along with it. Number 7. Filament Fever. I guess it's pretty hard to avoid the ragtime vibes when talking about our circus kids, huh? Filament Fever definitely gets a leg up by being a Tsukasa focus song, meaning my favorite vocalist of the group, Hirose Daisuke, gets to shine. Other than that though, the song is littered with these small moments that add a lot of charm to it, especially when paired with the MV. Things like the group still getting into place with the music box BGM getting started, and similarly the music going nutso as the kids have their freak out about the lights. It kinda perfectly matches Tsukasa, where it goes from perfect executions to frantically screaming and running around, and then right back to the bravado at the drop of a hat. And I love seeing the songs made for the game really put in the effort to include the characterization the game's worked so hard on all these years. Number 6. Telecaster B-Boy. Telecaster B-Boy is one that I had seen people talk about a lot before it made its way to the iink server, and for some reason I decided to not investigate the song on my own from there. So it showed up and I was like, time to see what everyone's so hype about, and at first I was like, this is fine, but then I played it a second time, and it all clicked, and now I get the hype. Not only is it just a total jam, but I think this is one of the best uses of line displacement and virtual singer the group has, having each member sing on their own one line at a time, while reserving Len for the lines that lead into the chorus sounds great. No issues of the Vocaloid voice sounding out of place. And then having everyone come together for the chorus, it gives the song so much power, it becomes so loud in the perfect way. It's why despite both of the cover options being very good in their own right, I just can't keep myself away from the whole team belting out together like this. Also, I adore this art. It's so good, even if I think Nene's pose is a bit awkward with her leg up like that. Number 5. Hair Swept Back by Gale Force Winds. This is the part where I enter feral monkey mode. There's something about this song that makes me fucking lose it. Like, I sit here, cry laughing every time I hear it. It's just a song about it being really windy, and it does everything for me. I'll have to be honest in that Hair Swept Back makes it this high on the list because the song is just great. I'm playing favorites here. The group do an excellent job singing it, as always, but it's really the recorder going bonkers in the background that makes me love this song so much. It's another one that I'm begging, crying, screaming to get an MV, because if just the song on its own makes me this dang giggly, then surely an MV would have me fully out for the count. Number 4. At God's Mercy. At God's Mercy is one of those songs that I always seem to like, regardless of who sings it, so it's not really much of a surprise that I enjoy the Circus Kids version of it so much. The chorus especially jumps out at you with the infectious melody, keeping you bouncing along to the song enough, then you end up messing up your combo. The MV is also a delight. I can't listen to the song without thinking about the troops dancing, specifically the waving circular motions and the fox hands. It's just so much fun. A perfect song choice for when you're feeling down and want to pick me up. Number 3. Childish War. It's only just now while making this video that I learned Giga was the composer for the song. It's really different from what I'm used to hearing from them, but also it does make sense. It features the strong beats that his other works have that help carry and emphasize the lyrics so well. The BGM knows exactly when to ramp up and when to pull back to give each line the chance to hit just right. I also adore getting to see so much character on display with the song, not just with the 10 out of 10 MV having the kids battle and dance, but in the vocals themselves. The group are given the opportunity to express their emotions a lot with the song, especially during the bridge, where they just start fighting. please let Hirose yell more during songs, he's so good at it. I don't think there's a single element across the whole song's presentation that I could even nitpick about, let alone fully complain. Chef's kiss. Number 2. Goodbye Declaration. This one's hard to talk about for some reason. While I'm often able to put on my thinking cap to break down why I like songs for these videos, any real logic just evades me here. Nothing jumps out as an obvious reason for me to like it this much over other songs, like the BGM, MV, or use of lyric distribution, and yet Goodbye Declaration is one that I come back to constantly. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that I prefer the Rui and Nene cover, as I feel their more tempered deliveries are better suited for the song than Tsukasa and Emu's unending energy, but it's not like I dislike Tsukasa and Emu's inclusion. I'm gonna boil my thoughts down to, clearly Chinozo is a good-ass musician, blurring together lyrics, instrumentation, and melody into a perfect concoction that tickles me in the I like this part of my brain. I may not be smart enough to explain why I like it this much, but my heart won't let me put it any lower on the list, and you gotta listen to your heart. Noodle time! Second from the bottom for the Cup Noodle collaboration is Cosmospice, which I know might be ironic, since I have made my love for Pinocchio P's music no secret, just to have his noodle song be in the lower half here, but similar to Identity, I still really do like the song a lot. It somehow feels perfect for the Tenmas with their big personalities, and I think the effect on the vocals during the bridge is especially fun. It doesn't go any higher, mostly because I feel like it's just a little narrow in what it offers tonally, and also because I'll have trouble remembering how the song actually went if I haven't listened to it recently, but it's still a delightful addition to the game.
Why are you two so obsessed with family anyway? It's just a word.
Just a word? I love my family and they like me! Calm yourself, brother.
Number 1. All I Need Are Things I Like. Luckily, Pinocchio P has no reason to worry, as he's still offering some of my absolute favorite additions to the game. His unique, quick-tempered music is downright perfect for the circus kids, and the way he tunes Miku matches them to a T as well. She sounds so similar to how Kinohina performs Emu that it can be easy to forget that one of them is a voice bank. And this song's gotten me to realize how much I really like Rui and Emu singing together. Usually she's with Tsukasa and he's with Nene, but these two balance each other out super well. On a similar note, this year's list has gotten me to become quite the fan of Toki Shinuchi's performance as Rui. While I always found him to be a good singer, I also hadn't been as taken with him as I had with Tsukasa's vocals. But something about this list of songs, and All I Need Are Things I Like especially, had something click in my brain with him. I think this song especially works well because Toki's quite good at delivering the grandiose lines that Pinocchio P will tend to use. I'd love for a Rui cover to become available, but don't let that get in the way of acknowledging how dang great all three are here. I can't stop listening to the song, and every time I think of their little kicking move, so obviously it was gonna be number 1 for Wonderland Showtime. And with that, it's time to move to the middle child of the enthusiasm chart, Vivid Band Squad. Every year, I really struggle to narrow down the 10 best songs for the squad. It always ends up with me going, oh, but this song! Oh, but that song! Aw man, which one do I like more? So just know that narrowing down these lists can be hard for me too sometimes. Number 10. Kinmokusei. For like a month after this got into the game, I kept seeing lyric videos recommended to me, and every time I was like, I don't recognize that name, let's check it out. Oh, it's this one! So while the name will tend to elude me, clearly the song itself holds up enough to jog my memory. I would describe this as YY2, a similar sort of bittersweet end-of-the-season vibes as YY, but a little lower register and a little more melancholic. It's a feel that fits the squad so well, I say, not only because it's at a register that's easy for the boys and girls to sing at, but just because the atmosphere of the song perfectly fits the eternally lit at twilight aesthetic of the group. Number 9. Martial Maximizer. I'm gonna get the negatives out of the way first. I think Luca's the worst part of the song, and I get that they're trying to have her match Kafu's original performance with how high they've tuned her, but I'm just not a fan of it. Especially since the real kids are singing at like a decent pitch. That being said, despite how short this one is, the rest of the song totally slaps. It's got a tempo that gets your heart racing, and an MV that hits you with the dopamine just right with the group's perfectly on-point dancing. Despite my complaints with Luca, I still find myself wishing that this was longer, which I think is proof that it belongs on the list. Number 8. Forward. Forward is a song that I feel like never got that much love from the community. Being one of the earliest commissioned songs for the event stories, it seemed to be dismissed as not as cool as Ready Steady, and mostly waved away. But now, looking at the larger catalog of songs in the game, I find that Forward still holds up pretty well. While not as hype as Ready Steady, I think Forward does a good job displaying the goofy friendship we eat too many sweets side of Vivid Bad Squad, and while it's not the first song I think of when discussing On, Sumitomo Moegiana does an excellent job with these vocals, really carrying the song forward, haha, with the rest of the team being a lot less animated in their performances to put her front and center. Number 7. Realize. We're really rubber banding back to the other side of the hype levels here. Realize is sort of the perfect mix of the coolness of Ready Steady and the goofiness of Forward, where the song is both the most club music I think we've gotten in the game during the pre-chorus, and also has the sort of sparkly, bubbly sound during the chorus that would be perfect for a slice of life anime opening. It does everything Forward does right, but also makes me get excited and want to dance, which is a winning combination in my book. Truly, its only downside is being so short. Number 6. Crazy. I think the thing that first jumps out at me with Crazy is how grungy it sounds. Like, the music feels dirty, and it's fascinatingly contrasted with the slick, clean vocals in an excellent way. I also think the use of English throughout gives the song a very unique feel. It all comes together to really get your heart beating. It's a crying shame we didn't get a 3D MV. The dancing would have been spectacular, I'm sure of it. That being said, the artwork for the 2D MV we did get is awesome throughout, really nailing making the girls look cute and the boys look cool, so I guess I can't complain too much, huh? Number 5. Moonlight. Oops, we got another Akito song up next, but this time we're pumping the brakes on the grungy sound to instead deliver these cool, smooth, almost jazzy vibes. I'm endlessly impressed with how well the squad can do both the high energy songs and the slow, cool ones like this. And the MV is a delight, with the desert wasteland aesthetic being super memorable to me. And as always, the art slaps. Toya especially stands out to me here. He just looks so cool. I think my favorite part of the song is the bridge. It's kinda ominous and eerie sounding, and this is gonna be a weird pull, but it always makes me think of the final boss theme from Yoshi's Island. I don't know what to do with that info, but I've been wanting to tell someone about it for the longest time now. Number 4. Love is War. I have never cared about this song. I wouldn't say I disliked it, but it never did anything for me. I would skip it when playing Project Diva. I don't check out covers for it on my own, which should make it clear how damn good this version is to then have Love is War blast this high onto my list. The real girls put in so much power that the song desperately needed, in my opinion. Ryo's done as best as he could with Miku on her own, but the song gains so much when a real person with real emotions starts yelling into the mic like this. Songs like this is why I adore Project Sekai so much, because it took a song I've never cared for and made a version great enough for me to put it into a playlist to listen to on my own. Number 3. Shunrun. This one is fucking bananas. Maybe it's the song artwork that's doing it for me, maybe it's the robotic voice and the beat, but this one gets me totally thrown off kilter in a good way. The lyrics are also fast and sort of hard to follow. It makes me wish we had an MV to help better paint a picture for the song's narrative to me, but also I love getting to re-listen to this over and over trying to break down the lyric distribution myself. Similar to how I discussed with Telecaster B-Boy, this is another excellent example of using Mako to the best advantage. Having her sing mostly harmonies and getting to go solo for lines that are meant to punctuate the verse or chorus gives her robotic voice weight rather than making it stand out awkwardly. I feel the squad is the group that most consistently has the virtual singers fit in well with their singing, and this is a perfect example. Number 2. Brain Revolution Girl. This very nearly was number 1. The catchy music, slick vocals, and perfect MV all have a great way of sticking to my brain like glue. The first time I watched the MV, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'd say Project Sekai's biggest weakness is the fact that they tend to have all the members of a group sing one at a time instead of together too often. However, here it does a good job of making the chorus feel more loud and powerful than the verses, with all the kids singing together for them. Before it had been released, I'd seen a lot of people excited for Brain Revolution Girl's inclusion, and after getting to hear it in-game, I totally understand why. It hits all the marks perfectly for being a top-tier Vivid Bad Squad cover. Noodle time! Tokugawa Cup Noodle Prohibition is hands down the best MV this game has. This makes me vomit and cry from laughter. Every damn frame of this has me losing it. Things like Robonene crashing into Mikudayo, Rin and Len doing the caramel dancing, Luca and Meiko looking so stiff when they grab the noodles, the fact that the second Shogun is just Kaito again. This just a fucking cat, it's bananas. The song is also very good, catchy and fun. It's downright my favorite Michi M song. But it's really the top tier MV that I liked so much to put it at number 3 on the noodle list.
Said turn left, but fine, keep going straight.
I like going this way, okay?
Rerouting because my route was so shitty, I guess.
Number 1. Shanty. Here's the real tea. The first time I heard this version of Shanty, I didn't like it. Primarily because of that issue I had just mentioned with splitting up line distribution instead of letting the kids sing at the same time. I'd felt like it made the song choppy, and it's why originally I had Brain Revolution Girl at number 1. But I re-listened to Shanty while making the initial list for this video to see if I thought it was top 10 material, and I found myself constantly coming back to listen to it. I was excited to work on the video because I was like, I can't wait to get to Shanty again so I can write out my thoughts on it. And eventually it hit me. Oh! I think I like this song a lot more than I originally thought, and a huge part of that is the stunning harmonies used to bolster Kaito's lines. And we've recently gotten covers for Just the Boys if I ever want to listen to a less choppy version, though I will say I don't really think it's that bad. Mostly just the first verse is where my problem was. But after that, I find the lyric distribution delicious. Really, if I had to complain about anything, it would be that I wish the intensity was raised for the dismember them, dismember them, dismember them line. Because of Hypnosis Mike, I know that Toya's voice actor, Ito Kent, can get loud. And I think it would have been a nice addition to the song. But that's just a small idea that doesn't diminish how much the song has lived rent-free in my head while working on this video. Strap in, kids, cause the idols are up next. Every year I've done these lists, More Jump has steadily moved up in my enthusiasm level, and I keep saying I'm not that big a fan of the idol music, but it's getting to the point that I don't think I can keep saying that with confidence. More Jump's music and MVs are consistently high quality and entertaining with a huge variety with what they offer, so let's shut up with the preamble and get to the list already. Number 10. The Snow White Princess. While sometimes the MV can play a larger role in a song's ranking, other times it doesn't. Like here, this is a nice music video with an especially pretty background, but the Snow White Princess makes its way to the top 10 by having a hyper-catchy chorus. Once it hits, all thoughts go out the window to be replaced with a smiling emoji in my head, you know? Pleasant. It's the only word I can think of to describe this song. A pleasant melody with a pleasant use of instrumentation punctuating it at just the right moments. It's lovely. Number 9. Hug. The thing that stands out the most to me with Hug is this tempo. The lyrics go by so fast, it's like the idols have taken you by the hand and started running, and it's up to you to keep up. Yet it doesn't feel frantic or frightening, instead it perfectly straddles the line between melancholic and hopeful with the melody, excellently mirroring the themes of the song. It's also nice seeing Len show up again with More Jump. He doesn't get used for their songs too often, which is a shame. Similar to Leonid, I think he sounds really nice with them. Number 8. Deep Sea Girl. I'm amazed it took this long for this to make it into the game. Deep Sea Girl is a bona fide classic, and it's great to see it covered so well here. All the girls do an outstanding job with the vocals as usual, but I gotta give a special shout out to Yoshioka Mayu as Haruka. Maybe it's because they've also given Haruka all the best lines to sing in the song, but she does a phenomenal job mixing in a melancholic sound to her performance that gives it a real depth. Truly the only thing that's missing is an MV, which again, it's surprising that it didn't debut with one. Once a 2D MV comes out though, I'm excited to see it. Number 7. Kuninaru. Speaking of MVs, this one was robbed. A 3D MV would have been amazing. I can feel it in my bones, but whatever, I guess. Looking to what we do have, I'm fascinated by the decision to use Meiko for this cover. Miku was used alongside Kafu in the original, so they could have just kept Miku for this version too. I think changing her out for Meiko works really well though. Miku is performing the lower harmonies for Kafu, so using Meiko, who has a deeper voice than Miku, to fulfill that role alongside the human girls works really well. This song is one that feels like it was always always here. The bubbly BGM is perfect for More Jump, and all the kids do an amazing job balancing emotion and control. Every time the song starts up, I think, oh hell yeah, and every time it ends, I think, I wish that was longer. Number 6. Moto. I often find myself really taken with Junkie's songs. They consistently have an infectious melody that earworms its way into your brain, paired with a strong beat that'll have you tapping your foot along with the song every time, and that is such a perfect way to showcase More Jump in their new Image song. It feels like the opening to a whole concert, something to get the crowd excited right off the bat, definitely helped by the MV being basically that. The dancing is just as bouncy and energetic as the song, making it impossible to not think of the MV whenever I listen to Moto. I liked newly edgy idols well enough, but I'm much more taken with Moto for More Jump's main theme. Number 5. Melancholic. Oops, Junkie's back right away with perhaps my favorite song of theirs, so it's not much of a surprise that it made its way onto the list. I really like how the girls pass off the lyrics to each other. It gives the song a homogeneity that builds really well throughout the verses. I can't wait for a full version to come out, as only getting this much of the song feels like just an appetizer. I sit here crying, more, I want more! I want the whole meal so I can enjoy these delightful harmonies the kids share with Rin to their fullest. Number 4. Viva Happy. The first thing I always think of with Viva Happy is the MV. The art style is so dang charming and cute. Even if Miku's pose is a little awkward looking, I also love this downright frantic pace the song has. These moments especially get your blood pumping and ready for more. This whole song screams More Jump to me, and specifically when they first started off their journey. It's energetic in an almost messy way, without ever feeling unprofessional. It's a downright perfect song to represent a group of professional idols going independent with their work and still being able to crush it. Number 3. Darling Dance. Similar to previous songs I've discussed throughout the video, Darling Dance was one that I saw get a lot of hype before it officially dropped, and the first time I listened to it, I was like, that's it? For some reason, Darling Dance just did not grab me. Luckily, after some time passed, I returned to Darling Dance and concluded that this actually slaps and past me was stupid. It's amazing how often that happens, huh? I'm a sucker for when More Jump gets to do these edgier songs. All the girls perform them so well, and Haruka and Minori do an excellent job performing this high-pitched and repetitive song while avoiding sounding annoying, which I think less able performers would really struggle with. Also, I'm a dumb sucker for this MV. I adore this pseudo-gothic Lolita fashion, 10s across the board. Number 2. Peach Colored Key. I've analyzed this MV before, but I would like to reiterate how much I like how dizzying it feels. The camera is downright seasick with the constant swaying and cutting to new angles off beat, but the girls' performance is steady and controlled. It all pairs perfectly with the song itself, where the lyrics echo Airi's thoughts for the event, her worries and conflicted feelings, but the strong beat continually marches forward, as if it's holding the vocals and piano's hands to keep them from getting lost. Despite that uncertainty in the lyrics, Peach Colored Key feels very much like a strong song. It has power to it, definitely amplified by Furihata Ai's vocals as Airi. There was a solid 2 weeks where I was just listening to this and More Jump's #1 pick song on repeat. They're both just so good. Noodle time. For a long time, Blue Paint volleyed back and forth with being my #1 favorite cup noodle song. A song that totally flew under my radar before it made its way to the iink server. I don't think I had even given this a listen to on my own before then, which in hindsight is bananas because I love the Hinamori sisters' vocals. This is the perfect mix of a calm, late-in-the-day vibe and the type of powerful emotion that makes my brain go, yes please! I will say though, that of all the noodle songs, I think this is my least favorite MV. The art is very nice. The girls look super pretty, but I don't love how Shizuku and Shio are just wearing their normal outfits. It makes them clash aesthetically and gives the MV a sort of hodgepodge feel. Even if the goal was to emphasize their differences, I would have liked to see unique looks for them here, but really that's me splitting hairs. This is still one of the songs I've got on a playlist and will keep listening to nearly a year after I fell in love with it.
Do you sew? I forget.
Yes, I do.
Did you sew that?
No.
Number 1. We Are. Last year, my number one pick for the idols was a Shizuku focus song, and it's the same this year too, so I guess I'm Shizuku's biggest fan, but can you really blame me? Honizumi Rina's performance consistently provides a strong vocal and emotion while never losing Shizuku's airy voice, all without it becoming an annoying pitch or sounding forced. But while Shizuku definitely leads the charge with the lyrics, the whole team is bringing their A-game as usual to the song. I know I haven't brought up the Vocaloids much for More Jump, I feel they often fit alongside the girls well enough in a very non-intrusive way, but I do really like Len's inclusion for We Are. While I wouldn't describe his voice as particularly deep, it is deeper than the human girls, which when all singing together really fills out the song and the vocals, giving them a big, full sound during the chorus. This has been a surprisingly technical breakdown of We Are's placement on my list, but at the end of the day, We Are truly just makes me happy. I like the message to it and how bubbly and fun the song is. If Shizuku's songs are gonna keep filling my heart up like this, then I guess I'll just have to keep staying her number one fan. Last, but certainly not least, is Nightcore 25. Nightcore have been volleying to be my number one group since I first started making these videos, and they finally reached the top. Similar to Vivid Bad Squad, I always struggle to narrow down my top 10 songs for Nightcore. Their track list has a lot of variety, which means they have songs that hit all the different emotions I like when listening to music. But I did manage to get it down to 10 with confidence, and I'm excited to share them with you. Number 10. Nothing But Life. Nothing But Life sounds so chill, with the bass and drums carrying everything forward at a steady pace, and the melody takes its time in a way that sounds more relaxed than taxed. If one didn't know better, they could assume that this was one of the rare songs Nightcore got to sing that was more positive. Yet, it's really more melancholic than anything, I'd say, and it leaves the listener with a surprisingly empty feeling, despite how full the song sounds. It's the kind of song that I find difficult to remember how it actually goes once I finish it, but that I have no problem returning to over and over again. Sort of a, I know I like this, but I don't remember it, like a fading yet fond memory, which honestly fits right in with Nightcore's themes in a way. Number 9. Totemoi Tai, Itagari Tai. Man, where do you even start here? The lyrics are spot on from Mafuyu and Anna, discussing pain in their chest that doesn't go away even when they get what they want. It's a perfect match for Mafuyu's relationship with her mom and Anna's relationship with her art. Even if that wasn't the original intention with the lyrics, it's how a story can alter your perception of a song's message that makes covers like this so fun. And I think it's worth noting how impressed I am with the girl's ability to keep up this speed. The song feels like it's at a permanent breakneck pace, and yet Tanabe Rui and Suzuki Minori never falter. It all really grabs you and refuses to let go until the song finishes. Number 8. It Was a Very Beautiful June. Despite Miku very often appearing on songs, this is a rare instance of it being a Miku-forward one, where she not only leads the charge during the chorus, but the MV also puts her at the center of the story it plays out, which I think works really well. There's a real othering of Miku here, how she seems to vanish halfway through the song, and her more robotic voice adds to that off feeling auditorially. The fact that she's clearly not a real girl and her voice stands out so much due to that is like the point. It's a fascinatingly and shockingly unique approach to mixing the virtual singers with the humans, leaning into their roboticism to add to the performance rather than trying to hide it. It's something that we certainly do see show up with other teams and that I've even made note of during this video, but I feel so often Nightcore are the ones who really use this idea to the fullest potential. Number 7. Cute Girlfriend. This one's really fascinating to me. While it's a lot less character accurate than something like Totemoi Tai, it's still tons of fun hearing the girls go yandere mode. Kosunoki Tomori as Kanade is especially great with these sorts of eerie sounding songs. I love getting to hear her do things like this. The really fascinating part to me though is Luca, who when I first heard this song I fully thought was Miku. Luca's pitched much higher than usual, and I've seen annoying people say it's because Prosecca is bad at tuning, which is an asinine take if you ask me. This isn't poorly tuned, just like how Imon's tuning for Luca isn't poorly done for Dream and Choo Choo, where she's similarly pitched to sound much younger. Quite frankly, I think Cute Girlfriend is a better version of what we saw earlier on the list with Marshall Maximizer. Both songs originally featured Kafu, and while the squad's version of Luca ended up sounding a bit grating, she's much nicer to listen to here. All that aside, the ooky spooky vibes of Cute Girlfriend are top-notch, to the point I can never seem to focus on reading along with the lyric videos, and instead just enjoy the song pulling me along for the ride. Number 6. Somehow. Man, I'm gonna end up sounding like #1 Len fan too, cause this is like the 3rd or 4th time this video I'm gonna point out how strong he is as a member of a team. And I've said this about him in a previous video as well, but they're just so good at making him sound sad. The chorus is downright heartbreaking, and it's all his and Kanade's fault, with the perfectly timed voice cracks. It's the sort of thing that pulls Nightcord over Murmur Jump on my list. The idols always sound incredibly professional, which leads to very high quality performances. But Nightcord adds the character of being flawed to enhance the emotion in their performance. God, I can't stop listening to it. It's the kind of music and, quite frankly, art that I positively live for. The kind of art that truly evokes an emotion out of the listener. Nightcord's songs are hitting this hard and we're only halfway through their list. God damn, they let us eat good at Sega! Number 5. Goddish. Despite my love for Pinocchio P, this is one song that hasn't really clicked with me before now. I've heard the original and plenty of covers, and while I thought they were all nice, Goddish is a song that I never found myself itching to return to. Project Sekai's version has finally broken that trend, and I think I have to blame it all on how apathetic the group sounds. Not apathetic in a way that makes it sound like they don't care, but rather more like all this talk about death is simply par for the course. They have an air about them that is giving them yokai or shinigami vibes, which is so delicious. It gives the song such a fun life to it. I'm also blown away that we don't have an MV for this yet. It's downright criminal. I bet it'll be great once we do. Number 4. ID Smile. That's right, ID Smile finally makes its way to my top 10. I had so many comments lamenting its exclusion previously, but it always was just barely pushed out of the top 10 each time, and it's no wonder why this is a favorite amongst the fans. I've already discussed the MV at length in a different video, and while I do still love the depth of character throughout it, I think I'll focus on discussing the actual song here. Most notably, and obviously, is how perfectly it mirrors Mizuki's character, with the bubbly, bouncy sound throughout evoking the same energy Mizuki brings amongst their friends, punctuated with a melancholic bridge revealing Mizuki's insecurities, complete with a piano that sounds like teardrops, and Sato Hinata's performance for Mizuki wavering just enough to let us see past their happy persona, for a single line letting us hear how hurt and conflicted they are. And then right back to the bubbles. It's stunning. And it's why, while Mizuki has gotten other focus songs since ID Smile, it continues to be the quintessential Mizuki number in my eyes. Number 3. Samsa. Samsa is such a fun combination of melancholy and power, with the verse having the lyrics wallowing in its melody while the BGM keeps an ever-present angry guitar on standby, allowing that anger to truly shine through during the chorus, which all echoes the story for the event that this song came with perfectly. I love it when the commission songs really feel like they go with their event like this, and I must say, Kaito might be the biggest factor in how much I like Samsa. Similar to how I'd felt with Len matching well with Leonid, I think Kaito is my favorite virtual singer to see with Nightcord. Giving them bass to support their higher-pitched singers, especially Kanade, is paying dividends. While Kaito can at times feel out of place among other all-female/female presenting vocalists, Nightcord's group already has a pretty decent range, meaning he's yet to end up a glaring outsider with their songs. Nightcore 25 Kaito might be the best use of Kaito, and I cannot wait for more. Number 2. Engeki. This is another MV that I spent like 10 minutes or something breaking down in a different video, so while it still blows me away, I don't think there's anything new I can say about it. But instead, I can talk about these vocals. The lyrics really carry the song this time. Even during the chorus, when the piano and drums really kick in, the vocals are doing the heavy lifting to supply the power and emotion to the listener. And while I do still think Kaito is the best Vocaloid to sing with Nightcord, I want to make it clear that Luca is also sorely underutilized for the team. Here especially, she supplies a sort of ghostly presence to the song. With all the talk today with how they tend to pitch Luca high to match other Vocaloids, it makes her a stunning choice for songs with a more ominous undercurrent like iink, and she looks great alongside Kanade with their long hair together, but really the star of the show is Mafuyu, who usually doesn't get to emote too much, is now allowed to be overwhelmed with emotion, and Tanabe Rui holds nothing back between tearful hopelessness and a full-on breakdown. This song and MV nearly get me to tear up no matter how many times I watch it, and all I need now is for a full version to be released. Noodle time! What? Salamander has two of my favorite vocalists in the cast, Imai Fumiya and Suzuki Minori, singing a song composed from one of my favorite producers, Deco27? Was anyone really surprised that it's my #1 Noodle song? Well, despite the sarcasm, I was. I hadn't really latched on to Deco's original version of Salamander, but I think making it an argument between the siblings gives it a lot more dynamism than just Miku singing by herself. Not to mention the fact that Akito and Anna are just giving a lot more emotion too. Being loud and angry gives Rockwell's arrangement the support it really needed, and this art is 10 out of 10, Anna's outfit especially is so cute, chef's kiss. While Blue Paint had really grabbed me, this is the cup noodle song I find myself coming back to the most. So while the whole collaboration was oops, all bangers, this has to be my favorite of the bunch. But the Tokugawa miso and garlic noodles sounds the tastiest.
Rachel is so annoying. I heard you were talking shit about me. What the f?
#1. Passion at 2500. Wow, what a surprise. #1 Kaito fan who went on and on about how much I like him singing with Nightcord likes the other Kaito song the most. But he's just so good! Every praise I had for him during Samsa is tenfold here. Even in this significantly less angry setting, he supports the team perfectly, providing a sound akin to confidence and downright safety. He is the big brother all these kids need, and no one can tell me otherwise. Kaito's not the only performer here though, far from it. Despite being a Kanade-focused song, she takes more of a back seat, allowing the others to carry the listener throughout the verse and bridge, with Kanade and Kaito leading the others into each new section of the song. It ends up like a love letter to her team, echoing the sentiment of the song. Kanade doesn't need to take center stage as long as she's with her friends. She's happy. This is one of the very rare instances where, despite my love for 3D MVs, I choose the 2D one every time for this, because I only want to listen to the full song. Every verse and chorus and bridge, they all go together perfectly to pull the emotion out of the listener. Losing any of it means losing out on huge portions of that narrative, how it moves between somber and vulnerable and, well, passionate. I like to sprinkle in moments during these videos where I show off a particularly moving or impressive or memorable part of the song, and I just can't pick one small bit to put on for this section. The whole thing is the part. You have to go listen to it now. Oh, darn! But for real though, if you only have time to listen to one song from my list, I implore you make it this one. All that same emotion-evoking goodness I'd discussed with songs like Engeki or We Are can be found here. It makes my heart swell. It makes me calm down during a bad day. It makes me passionate to work on my art. And I'd love to share all of that with you. Wow, golly, that's the list done. These videos are always a lot of fun, but they can be a bit stressful too, since I have to work on them sorta quickly once I start. Since the game's always putting out new songs, I don't want to end up missing out putting some new top fave on the list because I've released while I was scripting or editing. If it does happen, I can always put it on next year's list, but I'd like to avoid that if I can.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And it was especially hard this year to finalize my top 10s. I ended up shuffling around each list quite a bit, which I think is a testament to how good all these songs are. When the gap between 10 and 1 can rearrange so much, it means there's not much of a gulf between how much I enjoy any given song on the ranking. I guess to put it in a slightly better way, being number 10 on the list still makes it pretty dang close to how much I like number 1. As always, here's the overall top 10 for the 50 songs I just ranked, not including the cup noodles. You can find all these songs in the playlist in the description, and stick around for the funny memes at the end. They're always one of my favorite parts of doing these videos.
Don't fuck with me! I have the power of God and anime on my side!
Wait, look, my liege! Camelot. Camelot. It's only a model. Shh.
See, what I like about Mario Kart is you just get to spend time with your friends, and you know what? Fuck all of you, I'm gonna fucking kill you!
So I walked into the hotel, and there was a plate of what looked like yogurt-covered nuts and like dusted dry fruit. And I was like, yum! And I like grabbed them and shoved them in my mouth and bit down, and they were rocks. And I was...
BMXers are cool.
Tick.
Doctors are cool as well.
Yeah. Why shouldn't they have some downtime?
Why shouldn't they have some downtime?
Yeah. And I'm beginning to think this isn't your BMX, because you don't know enough BMX terms.
I know the term, wheel.
What does BMX stand for, Joe?
It stands for bicycle, my excellent bicycle. I believe.
A haunting poem.